Now Rishabh can't play in this game, won't be able to play in the next game, I'm pretty sure.
When he's keeping wickets, I mean, he's a force of energy down there. He's lifting everybody else up in the team.
And I went, no, in cricket you can't replace it. And they went, what? He's broken his foot. Yeah. Why can't you just replace him? So you're not allowed substitutes in cricket. But if he'd have banged his head on the floor, of course you can replace because it's concussion. They just went very confusing.
How did you lift yourself through your injuries?
Oh, that's just inner strength and inner motivation to get out there and play cricket again. That's the motivation when you're injured. But I think on long tours, it's so important that you have extroverts. You have people that bring a bit of life to the dressing room. You bring a bit of humour. And I look at Rishabh now and I think, of course, they're going to miss his play. They're going to miss his batting, his keeping, but they're probably going to miss his humour. You know, that light-hearted humour that he'd bring every day. He's always smiling and laughing. He probably will still be smiling and laughing knowing Rishabh Pant, but you know, he's not out in the middle. Yeah, we had people like Darren Gough, Matthew Hoggard, that would always say something stupid that would make everyone...
Something stupid?
Yeah, they would. They'd just lighten the mood on a pressurised day, and you'd think, yeah, you know, it's just a game of cricket.
Some little remark. One remark in the change room.
On the bus in the morning, and it just sparked the team into realising it's a game of cricket and you've got to enjoy it.
How much of an impact has Rishabh Pant had on this series? Therefore, how much will India miss him? He's made 462 runs in this series at 77.
I think he's been the most feared batter, without a question. They have a lot of, obviously, a lot of concern about Shubman Gill with the kind of batting that we've seen in the first couple of test matches. But I think Rishabh Pant is the one that England have always been a little more concerned about, worried about, because he can take the game away from you. That's what he's done. I mean, he comes in, even yesterday, he started off pretty slowly and then suddenly started to, go about, and, it looked as if, England were thinking what to do. They had Joe Root coming in to bowl because Joe Root can get the straight one through and get the left-hander out, LBW. So Rishabh, and then behind the stumps, when he's keeping wickets, I mean, he's a force of energy down there. He's lifting everybody else up in the team. And he's also maybe getting under the skin of some of the batters. Most of the time, he doesn't say anything to the batter. I mean, he's saying things to his teammates, something to lift them up and to also send a message to the batter. So that impact is, immeasurable. I mean, he is the fulcrum of this Indian team. And
much as the cricket ball doesn't know what Rishabh Pant is going to do to it on its way to the batter, so too, I don't think Rishabh Pant has any idea what life is going to throw at him. Here he is, 462, and now with a broken toe. You could say unlucky Rishabh Pant. I don't think he thinks like that. He probably thinks, as he should, that he's the luckiest man on the planet, that this game has given him another chance to come back in from where he was. But it's just day one. And yesterday on the BBC, Michael Vaughan said you must have replacements.
Yeah,
the law doesn't allow for it, but
I just think it would improve the game. When you have a clear and obvious injury like Rishabh's got, he's broken his foot. Nathan Lyon a few years ago in the Ashes series at Lords, he walked off on, I think it was day one or day two in the first innings of the game. He'd ruptured his calf, he couldn't walk off the field. You think, in times like that where it's a clear and obvious one, clearly there's going to be a grey area. So if there's a muscle injury, we know that becomes a grey area. But when someone's broken their foot, now Rishabh can't play in this game, won't be able to play in the next game, I'm pretty sure. We've got 4 days left of the game, and it's about the product of Test match cricket. And India now are playing against England, 2-1 down, and they're down to 10 players. In football terms, if a football player breaks a leg after 20 minutes, they don't have to play with 10 players for the rest of the game. So that's the kind of equivalent. And I just think cricket would be better if it was a clear and obvious injury, very clear on a break, a hand break, a foot break, a rupture of a muscle like we saw with Nathan Lyon. I just think we've got to look after the product, and the product now is less off because India are down to 10, and it's been such a great series that I'd hate to think that this game, that's going to sway the movement of this game because of that injury to Rishabh Pant. I'd make it very clear in the first innings of a game, if it's clear and obvious, you should be allowed a sub, like for like substitution.
Yeah, like for like.
Yeah. Very similar. So for instance, yesterday he'd have played the shot, hits his foot, hits him on the head, could have claimed concussion. They can have a substitute. So why are we having concussion substitutes but not a clear and obvious injury substitute? I think I'd just change that rule.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely, totally agree. I mean, I've always felt that you are actually giving, a like-for-like substitute for incompetence. You're not good enough to play short bowling. Don't play Test cricket. Go and play tennis or something like play golf or something.
Or play paddle like it.
That's why I play paddle, yeah.
If you can't, so you're giving, a like for like substitute for somebody who can't play and he gets hit. And here is a clear, somebody breaks his hand or, like Rishabh has done here yesterday. There has to be a substitute. You have to give a...
I like cricket to be decided by 11 versus 11 and skill, not luck. And that is pure bad luck that India have gone through yesterday. And if it had been England, I'd be saying exactly the same. If it's Australia, Nathan Lyon, I'm saying exactly the same. I hate so early in a test match, a team can have so much bad luck that it's going to affect the game. And now, obviously, next week's fine because Juvdrell will come in, he can play a part. But I just think Test cricket would be better. That Juvdrell, he can keep behind the stumps, he can take the catches, he can take the stumpings. He should be able to bat today.
All right, there you go. Here's a thought for what all of you think, actually. You can join us in the conversation. Send in your messages as well and tell us what you think about this rule. Remember, you can post on X with hashtag Extraaa Innings and tell us what all of you think as well.
Yeah,
you want to post as well?
No, I actually want, some sort of a committee that is,
there's something coming.
No, of course. I'd really like a committee to be appointed to take a call on this. There's a cricket committee. ICC has a cricket committee.
Okay.
But at the moment, that's headed by Saurav Ganguly. The ICC chairman is Jai Shah. The ICC CEO is Sanjay Gupta. So we don't want a situation for the media here in particular and in Australia to say, oh, because it's an Indian kind of situation, they have started to do that. So let it be a totally different committee to look at these injuries. Or maybe you have doctors, etc. And then let that committee come to a call.
But even if they start by saying, if there's a broken bone, if it's a broken bone, it's clear and obvious because you go and have a scan and it shows on the scan that someone's broken it. You cannot carry on. I get it with, little muscle tears. And is it a grade 1? Is it a grade 2? I can understand that there might be a bit of skullduggery late on in the test match. That you might think, well, we don't fancy that bowler. Let's replace him with someone else. I get that. Or a bowler's tired from the first inning. Or let's replace that bowler. If it's a clear and obvious break, that for me is quite simple. It's not subjective, it's clear and obvious that you should. My friends are all football people, and I've played paddle tennis with it this morning, and I was explaining the game yesterday, and they went, oh, but didn't someone break a foot? And I went, yeah. Oh, so he'll be replaced. And I went, no, in cricket you can't replace it. And they went, what? He's broken his foot. Yeah. Why can't you just replace him? So you're not allowed substitutes in cricket. But if he'd have banged his head on the floor, of course you can replace because it's concussion. They just went very confusing. So make it clear and obvious. If it's a break, you can have a sub.
What if your brains are in your knees?
Fourth Test, live now. Watch it on TV channels of Sony Sports.